Yo, what's going on, guys? My name is Omega. Welcome back to another Apex Legends video. So today we got a couple of big pieces of news to talk about. We're going to be talking about the brand new game mode coming to Apex Legends probably before Season 6, as well as some leaked information on something called clubs that is most likely going to be added around the same time. But the big piece of news that we're going to be talking about towards the end of this video is a very negative review that was left by a Respawn employee on Glassdoor. And he talked about how there's really no time for him to do anything besides work on Apex Legends. We're going to talk about that though towards the end of the video. Real quick, just want to let you guys know we are super close to 30,000 subscribers. The support on this channel has just been absolutely insane, so I want to thank you guys so much for all of the recent support. To everyone who's been watching the videos, liking them, and subscribing to the channel, like, you guys are the real ones, so thank you so much for all of the recent support. But real quick, I want to show you guys this Voidwalker skin recoloring that was actually posted by a guy named Roman on Twitter. This is a very clean and slick looking skin. I know a lot of people were kind of upset when Voidwalker Wraith came back into the store because the people who originally bought it didn't want it to be re-released and to not really be like a rare skin anymore. So many people had the idea to actually just recolor the Wraith skin and then to add it back into the store to kind of, solve this issue. And I thought this was a very clean looking skin. Another guy named Vezmans also added a few other, Voidwalker Wraith recolorings that would look really cool. I personally love the Dark Knight, and then obviously the Master Chief recoloring. That would just look epic in game. Obviously copyright wouldn't ever allow that, but still it would be a really cool idea to get some of these skins that return in the game as some kind of recolor, because I definitely think the recolors would make it more original, and it would also not piss off the people who bought the skin in the first place. But the next little bit piece of news is there's actually going to be some new weapon charms coming into Apex Legends. These are these Steam themed weapon charms which will only be available once Apex Legends comes out on Steam later this fall. The way to get these weapon charms is you have to be a PC player and you have to log into Apex Legends through Steam the first couple days that it comes out. So once we get more information on when the Steam release will be, I will talk about that in a future video, just to let you guys know, for all of you who play on PC, when you should be logging to Apex through Steam to pick up these very cool and very unique weapon charms. But let's get right into the first big piece of news for this video, and that is the next game mode coming into Apex Legends. Now, this was actually data mined by a guy named NovaValue1998 over on Reddit. He's done some data mining before, and he actually found some code in the game files that suggested that the next game mode to be coming into Apex Legends is going to be an Always Be Closing evolved limited time mode. So if you guys remember, Always Be Closing was a game mode that came out a couple months ago. Basically, in this game mode, the ring never stopped closing. There was not any of those periods of times where the ring was just standing still. This is a game mode that has so much action and always kind of has like a sense of urgency, because since the ring is always moving, you're always paying attention to the map and trying to figure out which way you're going to be going and how you're going to get to that middle point of the circle so that you don't get lost in the ring. But the really cool part about this game mode is that it's going to be evolved. So like a lot of the other limited time modes that have come to Apex, which have featured Evo Shields, Always Be Closing will also be featuring Evo Shields, so that you can actually level up your shield throughout the game. It kind of removes that sort of randomness that Apex Legends has in a lot of its games. Instead of jumping into a game and you picking up some common body armor and the enemy Wraith having gold shields right off the bat, this is going to be a kind of more of a fair game mode, just because everyone's going to be starting at the same place with their armor and you all have to get damage to actually level up that Evo. So I'm super excited for the Always Be Closing to coming. Let me know if you guys are hyped for that, or if you were expecting some other kind of game mode to come to Apex Legends. But next up, we have something called clubs coming to Apex Legends. Now, this is a really cool idea. This was actually data mined by Shrugtool. I've talked about him a lot. He's a very reliable data miner who's been right on a ton of different things. He also found some code in the game files that was suggesting something that clubs is going to be coming into this game. Now, clubs are basically kind of like clans or guilds that you can join with other like-minded players in order to easily be able to party up with people. The reason that Respawn implemented this is most likely because there's a lot of people complaining that the solo experience in Apex Legends is very bad, and we've all talked about how playing solo just absolutely sucks, man. I mean, I feel like you need at least some sort of pre-made team to have fun in this game. So I think that's why Apex Legends is releasing these clubs, so that you can actually find people who are kind of like-minded in the same rank as you to party up with them in the future, because this game is not supposed to be played solo. It is much more fun when you're playing it in a team. But the details with these clubs is that these clubs will also most likely come with some sort of in-game chat that'll help you better organize parties. So say you have 10 or 15 15 people in a club, that chat will probably be on like the right side of the main menu, so you can actually see when people are online, you can see when people are looking for games in your club, and this will definitely help you to find a better team to play with and not always have to rely on just joining up with randoms. Club names will also not be unique. This was talked about by Shrugtilt in one of his videos, as he said that club names, you can name them anything. There could be a million TTV club names, which I'm sure that is probably going to be the most common name that comes out. So you most likely won't have to have, a unique name that is not owned by anyone else. You can basically just name it whatever you want, and this will make it so you can actually play with people a lot more easier. Alright guys, but let's get into the real meat of this video, and this is the negative Glassdoor that a Respawn employee left just the other day. So for those of you guys that don't know what Glassdoor is, it's basically a website where employers can review their employees. So in this situation, a Respawn employee was leaving a very negative review on Respawn Studios, and I just want to say that this is the only 1-star and bad review of Respawn on all of Glassdoor. There's about 23 other very positive reviews, so I just want to mention that before I even read what this review is going to be about. There's also some developer responses in the comments of this post, but let's start off with the title. So he says, "Burnout, stress, and heavy anxiety on the Apex Legends project. I've been working at Respawn Entertainment full time. The pros of this company, founders of the studio generally have a great sense of how to make a great game, which is not necessarily the case for the rest of EA. Office improvements have been great as our place of work has needed a lot of attention. Now the cons. Mostly every other game company, including Epic, Activision, Bungie, have extended project deadlines and feature content roadmaps to accommodate for lower efficiencies and general stresses/anxiety during COVID-19, but not on the Apex project. I feel extremely stressed and burnt out trying to keep our seasonal releases on the same aggressive timeline as pre-shelter in-place productivity. I currently work 12 to 13 hours a day, and there's no separation between my home and work life. We have no idea how to do a live service project, which means poor planning decisions and no sizing of work means we actually have very little idea of how much we can accomplish in a given month. No attention to employee health during this period. We get 2 conflicting messages around please take care of your health and we must keep the same schedule and work even longer hours to meet our deadlines. I am so burned out that I'm considering leaving without a next job just so mentally I can be in a better place." So the reason that I'm talking about this in the first place is because this was posted on Reddit and got over 12,000 upvotes by the community. I think this is a big deal because we've seen with companies like Epic Games and Fortnite who have very obviously overworked a lot of their employees during the time that Fortnite has been out. Many of those employees have also complained about the same thing, having literally no time for themselves and working these 12 to 13 hour days only on Fortnite. And the same thing now seems to be happening with Respawn and Apex Legends. I just want to make a quick comment that while we are in the pandemic right now, Respawn is all working from home, man. I mean, I'm sure Season 6, the majority of it was created by the people while they were at home. So this is a huge change, obviously, in any kind of job dynamic right now. Working at home and transitioning from, always being around your teammates to now having to do virtual Zoom meetings to get anything done is definitely a huge change and not something that every single person is going to transition to easily. So I want to make that clear that I think, the big part of this that we have to see is that it's very hard to transition from, just normal work hours to working at home, especially when you're designing a game like Apex Legends. Now, this Reddit post actually got a response from Chad Grenier, who's one of the lead developers over at Respawn, and he made a very good, very professional response to this post. And I just wanted to read out a few parts to you guys because it is kind of long. Basically, he starts off by saying, "I'll chime in on this because a lot of this falls on me as the leader of the Apex team, but I truly believe Respawn has its employees' best interest and health in mind and always has. Transitioning to working from home all of a sudden during a pandemic was indeed very hard on the team. It took some getting accustomed to, and we are all certainly never have gone through this before, so we're in some uncharted territory. We certainly didn't have the tools, tech, or systems in place to make a smooth transition to going from several hundred-person team on the same campus to a completely remote studio. During this transition, I knew that not only was work going to be more difficult and less productive, but people would also be dealing with a scary global pandemic. Add to that the pressure even in a normal environment of making a live service game, and we are set up for likely the biggest challenge we've ever faced and are still facing as we continue to work from our homes. As the Apex team leader, I was vocal every day telling people to only work as much as they can. This was reiterated frustrated by studio leadership and EA leadership as well. Many have kids at home since schools are closed, or maybe their work environment isn't comfortable, they don't have a suitable home PC, or they have to take care of sick family members. Heck, even an ideal work from home office is exhausting to sit in the same spot all day and have endless Zoom meetings. We're all learning how hard this is together as a team. Respawn and EA put many benefits in place to make sure employees were being taken care of. Unlimited time off if you were not feeling well or taking care of someone, reimbursement for any purchases to make working from home easier or more comfortable, additional pay each paycheck to cover increased energy or internet bills, flexible work hours, and the list goes on. Now, this is the part where he talks about deadlines and, the idea that Respawn is crunching their employees right now. So he says, regarding deadlines and delays, I was very vocal to the team about their deadlines. Like a broken record, I continuously asked that people speak up to their managers or producers if they would not be able to get the work done on time without crunching. Delays would be okay, we just need to know one is needed. Remember that odd 2-week delay when Season 4 was supposed to end and then magically an additional 2 weeks was added to the end of the season with no weekly challenges? Yeah, that was because I delayed Season 5 by 2 weeks. That also had a trickling effect of many other much longer delays, but I won't go into details as it's mainly for unannounced content. The one thing I've learned about the team during this pandemic is that the team is filled with a bunch of rock stars and doers. Nobody wants to be the person to raise their hand and say that they're not going to hit their deadline. Nobody wants to be the one who got a feature delayed. Nobody wants to let their teammates down or let their fans down. Are we perfect? No, of course not. Does Respawn and EA 100% care more about the health of the team than the game and its profits? Absolutely. Even in non-pandemic times. As one of the original Respawners, I can honestly tell you that Respawn and EA has been a great place to be over the past 10 years and is a place that puts the people first. So I think in this situation it's very important to look at both sides, because obviously crunching in the video game industry is a very common thing. I actually wrote a paper on this for one of my college classes about how Epic Games was basically forcing their employees to work 12 to 13 hours per day, and if you weren't working that long, or if you weren't keeping up with their insane schedule for releasing new skins, you were basically just going to get replaced. And that was a huge deal about a year ago when that happened. But this seems to be kind of a very different situation, where obviously during the pandemic, the Respawn employees are now required to work from home, and since it's summer and a lot of these developers also have kids who are probably at home with them, it just creates this huge mess that basically makes it impossible to get work done on time. And Chad Grenier, it sounds like they are very okay with Respawn developers, not hitting their goals, as long as, upper management knows that these goals are not going to be hit, so they can plan for maybe something else to be added, or just to have, kind of an expected date of when things will be done. And I think that Chad Grenier, definitely did a great job explaining this. Hopefully they can kind of relay this information to the Respawn employees by telling them that you really don't have to work these long hours. I mean, as a fan of Apex Legends, I love, the game's content. I love the new seasons that come out, but I also understand that this game is created by people who have lives, who can't just be spending all of their time working on Apex Legends. It's going to cause burnout within the studio itself, and I want this game to be fun, and I would rather it be done right than be done fast. So personally, that's my opinion. I want to hear your guys' opinion on the situation down in the comments below, and let me know if you guys have any feedback on anything else that we talked about in today's video. As always, drop a like on this video if you guys enjoyed it. Thank you as always for watching, and I will see you guys all on the next video. Have a great day. Peace out.